Thanks very much, Chris. Ladies and gentlemen, once again a very warm welcome here to the annual commemoration hosted by the Royal Oak Society for the massacre of Glencoe. Murder under trust, heinous crime back in the day. If you gave people hospitality, you didn't expect them to get up in the night and slaughter you. On that night, 38 McDonald's and Hendersons suffered under the sword, and many more were lost in the hills and mountains surrounding the glen. That particular night, the weather was absolutely horrendous. Snow, deep snow, freezing. Yeah, so the actual count of many lost their life isn't actually known. So, as I said, very warm welcome. For those who it's your first time, warm welcome. Those who support us every year, fantastic guys, glad to see you again. Can I ask Viv to come up and give the opening prayer?
Be, O Lord, a guiding star above me, a smooth path below me, a kindly shepherd behind me, and a bright flame before me, today, tonight, and forever. Amen.
Thanks, Viv. Okay, I believe Jill's done a bit of rehashing. For those who have been here before, this will be completely different, apparently. She spent hours thinking about changing the speech and do something different. So I'd like to ask Jill to come up and give us a main address.
So for those of you who have been here before, I thought I would change it a little bit. So I've put the whole speech into verse. So hopefully you still get the meaning behind the words that I've done in previous years, but it's just a wee change. Oh, come awa, ye friends o' truth, and hear a tale of woe. On 13th of February 1692, where trust was full betray. For men and women, bairns at rest, were slain in winter's snow. A murder done in cold deceit by king and state and law. Oh, Glencoe, in that Glencoe, the snow ran red that day. With royal treachery under trust, they stole your folk away. Nae feud nor clannish quarrel here, but cleansing o' a kind. A hatred bred in lowland hearts, with stare's black twisted mind. For he and William's court decreed that MacDonald's maun be felled, and written branch be cut awa, at Duncanson's writ compelled. Now, in 88, when our James was chased frae Scotland's rightful throne, the Highland folk were scorned and blamed for ills no of their own. Yet Dundee raised the standard high and fought for James's name. At Killiecrankie won the field, then fell in death and flame. Breadalbin bargained with the chiefs, with bribe o' siller bright. A truce he coaxed fae some, not all, but stirred a deeper spite. For word reached William's pride for ear, that Europe mocked his hand. So he proclaimed the oath be sworn, or doom would scour the land. But oaths were sacred, sworn to God, and none would break their vow, till James himself released their words, which came sae late and slough. 10 days remained for McKeon's folk to swear in Campbell's tune, with winter's wrath upon these hills and snowdrifts closing room. McKean, the chief of Glencoe's Glen, a giant Lyall and Keen. A giant Lyall and Kine. With hair like frost and honour bright, set out through storm and wind. He reached Fort William on the 13th day and pled to swear the oath. But Hill couldn't accept it there, though both were swearing to help. Sae on to Inverere's gate McKean was forced to go, with Hill's own letter in his hand to prove he wasn't slow. But Argyll's men seized him and held him past the date, a trap well laid by Campbell's guile and Stair's black-driven hate. On the second day of January chill, he reached the Campbell's stone-built hall, but Archenglass was far awa' at Loch Fyne till the storms would fall. 5 days beyond the King's Own mark, he came at last to hear the plea, but said the time had long since passed, nae oath he'd take frae Glencoe's chief. The great chief bowed his head and wept, and begged him with a broken heart, administer the oath to me, and all my folk shall play their part. Those who refuse ye, bind them fast, or send them off to foreign lands. Say Archenglass, St Hill's own writ, we word to Edinburgh's stern hands. But swift the Privy Council struck, and struck with cold, unfeeling speed. MacDonald's name was scrubbed awa', though he believed he'd done the deed. Then came the order, dark and fell, fae Livingston's unholy pen. Burn their hussies, seize their gear, cut off all MacDonald's in yon glen. Now, Hamilton chose the regiment well. A Campbell band for Campbell's spite, with Glenlyon bankrupt, drink sore worn, a man mair pliant than upright. Dalrymple kenned a broken soul, was easy bent to cruel command. So Glenlyon led the march that rocked the ruin o' the land. They came to Glencoe's winter glen with tales of weather, hunger, need, and McKean, hearing Glengarry expected guests, felt nae misdeed. So in they took the sodden troop with fires and food and Highland grace, for hospitality was law in every honest Highland place. They shared their ale, their tales, their pipes, sheltered frae the storm's wild roar. The MacDonalds warmed their weary limbs and kept them safe frae winter sore. But Glenlyon got that fateful writ. The next afore the slaughter came. They feared his tongue when drink was in, so waited late to speak his shame. On the 12th night, as the household slept with peace upon their heather beds, the guests rose up with fire and steel and filled the glen with fear and dreads. Some fled into the frozen hills through white-out winds and deadly snow, but many perished in the drift where none could hear their final call. They came to McKean's door that night, pretending they were bound to go. The chief rose up to give them a dram, a Highland courtesy, you know. But as he pulled upon his trews, they shot him through the back of head. His face was shattered where he stood, and on a dung heap he was laid. Lady Glencoe in her grief was stripped and tortured where she lay. A soldier gnawed her fingers bare to tear her rings of gold away. A bairn 6 ran to Glenlyon, begging mercy with tearful plea, but had his throat cut with a dirk, his wee hand later found in scree. Auld Archibald, aged 80 years, was bludgeoned in and fire was thrown, and Glenlyon tried to save 2 lads who'd shared their hearth and called him friend. But orders ruled, and so they fell, shot down by those they'd fed and warmed. The hussies burned, the cattle slain, and death rode in the winter storm. By morn, the village lay in ruin, the ground ran red with innocent blood. The stench of burning thatch roofs rose and mingled with the frozen mud. Some Campbells tried to warn the host, but couldn't halt the tide of death. A soldier whispered to a stain, "If ye but kent, you'd flee this day." Those who fled wore naught but linen, barefoot in the bitter night. Many froze upon the braes, ere dawn could bring the morning light. McKeon's son escaped the glen, but Stair cried out in cruel disdain, "The old fox lives, his cubs as well." He wanted every last one slain. Oh, 30 mere souls were murdered there, and mony more in hills of snow. Henderson's and MacDonald's both fell victim to this king's own law. Some say 70 met their fate that night of treachery and frost, a wound that bleeds through centuries, a grief that never will be lost. Oh, Glencoe, dark Glencoe, your sorrow haunts us still, for murder under trust was done beneath these winter hills.
That was fantastic, John. Thanks very much. I now ask James to come up and wave the wreath on behalf of our society. Has anybody else got any floral tribute that they want to lay? Enough for jealous. Thanks, Brendan. I'd now like to invite Jill back. She's going to entertain us with her vocal skills. While Jill's singing, young Brian will pass among you with a dram. And if you want a dram, help yourself. However, don't drink it, and there will be a toast once we've done the minute silence.
Okay. Last year I wanted to change the song that we did here to a song that Cairn Polwart wrote, and it's about women and children coming back to try and find their menfolk, and you can't find them. And I think it's a very appropriate song to be sung here today. It's called Where Do You Lie? Where do you lie, my feather? Where do you lie, my son? Where do you lie, my true love? When will the truth be won? Your friends that came to protect us, your friends, they bade us bide. Your friends left us standing there naked, we nae place left to hide. Your neighbours that came wi' 100-year hate, our neighbours they came wi' guns. Our neighbours they came for our menfolk, and they slew them everyone. Where do you lie, my feather? Where do you lie, my son? Where do you lie, my true love? When will the truth be won? I saw to your grave with my mother. I saw to your grave in vain. I saw the bare bones o' the truth and the men. Father, warrior lane. I cried out your name to the four winds. I cried out your name till the dawn. I cried in the arms o' your sister dear. Where do you lie, my son? Where do you lie, my father? Where do you lie, my son? Where do you lie, my true love? When will the truth be won? I dreamed of your breath upon me. I dreamed of your yellow hair. I dreamed of the sounds of your dying love. Where do you lie, my dear? Where do you lie, my father? Where do you lie, my son? Where do you lie, my true love? When will the truth be won?
Now ask the gentlemen to bare their heads and we'll bow in a minute's silence and then Chris will play the lament. Thank you. Niall to come and give us a toast. To those no longer with us, absent but never forgotten, to the fallen whose names live in our stories and whose spirits walk beside us still, to commemorations past that taught us, present that unite us, and future that will carry their memory forward. May we honour them not only in words, but in how we live. We remember, we stand, we carry on. To the King.
To the King.
That's a nice wee drama, eh?
Just in time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the annual commemoration here at Glencoe. As I said, those who come every year support us, thanks for your continued support. Those who it's your first ever time and obviously came across us and, by accident, yeah. Go back, read about the massacre and what happened in this glen, yeah.